Inside the Birds is back. What's going on, everybody? It's Geoff Mosher and Adam Caplan for the final tape review podcast of this dismal, awful, terrible 2020 Eagles season. But we'll be honest with the listeners here, Adam. We'll do a little bit of tape review. We'll do what we normally do because there were some breakdowns there against the Cowboys that we can get into. But I think we need to, and I know we talked about this and you agree, kind of turn the page a little bit and look forward to really what's going to happen after this game against Washington and then, the weeks.
We'll get to that. Yeah. After done the tape, I got sort of an outline that I think the way these things usually go. And I've covered these, the way these end of season meetings happen and what we think could happen. So we'll get over that. We'll go over that. Mm-hmm. I know someone reached out on Twitter and asked a question about head coaching candidates. I've got that list. I've got a very long list, but it's just a matter of if, depending on what team you want to know about, what would fit. Because for the Eagles, if the Eagles were going to change, it's going to be quarterback driven. There's no question about that. There's zero chance they would hire a defensive coach. Not. There are many reasons, but it's the quarterback situation is way more complex than we had any idea to start the season.
Yep, no doubt about it. And if you're a big fan of our Sunday pregame show, I think we'll go down the same route with that as far as, yes, we will break down the game. But I think, when we have Trey and we have Greg Cosell there, we'll have them kind of break down some of the younger players individually and what they've done well this year, what they haven't done well as we discuss the future of the team. And it'll be less oriented about the actual matchup between the Eagles and Washington in a very weird game in that it's meaningless for the Eagles and has everything in the world meaning for Washington, which will be starting its fourth. Wait,
well, it depends if Alex Smith is ready or not.
Right. Could
not,
be on their
Taylor
fourth
Heineke.
starting.
Right, it'd be Taylor Heineke would be the next guy up.
Yeah, so to recap, that would be 4 different starting quarterbacks for Washington. There have been 2 for the Giants. There have been 2 for the Eagles, and there have been 4 for the Cowboys. So what a weird year.
I don't know if there's another division like that. Yeah,
I don't think there is. No, not at all. All right. Also check out our Inside the Birds YouTube channel if you want to check out some of our recent interviews. A lot of people, Adam, like the recent one, ITB TV, we did with Greg Cosell, where he gave after the first 2 starts of Jalen Hurts, he gave his thoughts on what he really liked out of Jalen and, some of the surprising things he saw that he did not see in Jalen's tape at Oklahoma. So that's good stuff. And, of course, we've got Tales from the Blind Side and Grilling the Birds also to be checked out. As far as transactions go, really nothing – excuse me. I swallowed down the wrong tube there. Nothing out of the ordinary. I don't know. They protected the tight end Hakeem Butler and not Caleb Wilson. Is that because they already used –
might have been, but I could tell you what they're doing here. This is just there are 2 things that are going on here. Mm-hmm. Number one, because they have nothing to play for in terms of standings and playoffs. This is a good last opportunity to look at the younger players. Well, if you protect these guys, why would you protect them? Probably because they're going to play, A, or B, you want to sign them to reserve future contracts for next season. So you want to make sure that nobody else poaches them. This is such a week to poach guys off practice squads. This is like your last chance to really do it.
Sure.
So you might as well do it. So they protected Butler, which would tell me they want to take maybe a bigger look at him. Could be this week. They'll look. I mean, you've got Goedert, of course, and you've got Ertz. So I don't know how much he's going to play. And plus, Richard Rodgers is hurt, so we'll see if he's available. Right. Wanago's protected.
Yep.
There's a guy now because of the Jordan Mailata situation. He's got a concussion. Mm-hmm. The way I hear it, it was a decent concussion. They don't grade concussions anymore. When I first covered the league, there were like 6 grades.
Right.
He's got a pretty decent one, so I would call him very questionable to play. We'll see if he's available. Joe Osman, who did play in this game, as we expected him to play in this Dallas game, and this Rashad Smith has been on and off the roster. They must see something in this guy.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. He had NFL experience, did he not?
I don't know anything about him, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, linebacker is a position that they're a little bit beat up at and could always use a body.
Yeah,
so, it was interesting to hear Doug say that he thought Davion Taylor had a chance to play in this season.
Yeah, that was a surprise. How about that? I with his knee, and obviously this is yet another chance. Yeah, Rashad Smith was with the Bears and the Cowboys,
right,
on and off their practice squad. But getting back to Davion Taylor, yeah, look, if if he looks good in practice, he's obviously going to play.
Right.
And this is yet again another guy they could take a look at and get some tape and get some stuff they could correct. Use watch tape with him and all that, and get an all season project. And obviously, some of that's tied to who's coaching. We'll see what happens, and that's going to take up everything with us next week. Everything will be devoted to what happens, what doesn't happen, what changes. There are going to be some changes. Why do I say that? I've said it for 2 months. I expect some changes in offense. Whether they don't renew contracts, whether these guys are dismissed, some guys are dismissed, or they restructure the coaching staff in terms of responsibilities. We all know about all the stories that are out there. You and I reported stuff. The Inquirer reported stuff. Some other national reporters put stuff out. We all know the owner's not happy with the offense. How could he be?
Yeah.
It's all the fans are pissed off. I mean, they should be. This is a joke that this team is 4-10-1 having a 2-week 17. So it's going to be a fun week. And then if there are changes, we'll have intel on who these people are if they're coming in.
Yep.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I'll speculate, certainly not report, but I'll speculate on top of what you said that the likelihood of changes on defense is probably there as well. I don't know that for a fact, but it hasn't been a great year for the defense, so we'll see.
It might be there. Some of those contracts might be up.
Mm-hmm. The Eagles like to do that, by the way. They like to move on from somebody and not call it a firing. They just say, well, his contract was up and we went in a different direction.
Right.
Well, you went in a different direction for a reason, though.
Right. As you and I had learned, I guess 2 years ago when we did some reporting, a bunch of coaches were not being brought back.
Right.
We got clarification that they just were not being renewed, which is a tip. What the things I like about the Eagles is they like to do it quietly.
Mm-hmm.
Even Andy Reid, I mean, it got out. It got out that Sean McDermott was fired, but Ron Rivera spilled the beans that Sean was fired when he hired him in Carolina.
Yeah.
It's a classy way to do things. Let guys get jobs before they have to announce. You and I reported on Gunter Brewer.
That's right. And then I think the defensive line coach Chris Wilson.
Right. And we had to do our job and we put it out. But I know that these guys were able to get jobs. It's good for them. But so that's what's coming next week. But I'll tell you what. And again, you and I have gone through this season with the tape. You get information depending on who you talk to. Some guys, if you're talking to whoever the advanced people who play the Eagles, it depends on what they're looking for and what's in the report. But we're able to shoot some stuff down. There's some bad information out there on because I know fans are only watching TV, or some fans will pay for the NFL.com package. So we'll be able to, because we got questions on Twitter, what they saw correct or not correct, and we'll be able to go through that.
Absolutely, we will. Oh, by the way, real quick, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to the Philadelphia Business Journal for naming Inside the Birds one of their I guess it was the top media business stories of 2020, right? So,
we were mentioning the article. Yeah,
that was a nice surprise. I had no idea. So that was.
Is it Jeff Blumenthal? Is it?
Yeah, I believe he was the author, and So
who interviewed us?
That was nice.
Yeah, who interviewed us to start the season. So yeah, you're right. We definitely appreciate that. It's cool. So anyway,
by the way, real quick on the protections with Prince Tego and Ogo being protected, which he's have been the last 3 weeks. If Mailata is not able to go, do you see? I'm wondering if this game coming up is going to be more about winning or evaluation of young player or a mix. So, would they play the Ross Pierscher-Backer kid at left tackle, or would
well, he's not a tackle. He definitely cannot play. He's too small. Yeah,
right. Well, he's the one that came in to play tackle, though, right?
He played. No, they actually switched. They moved Pryor to left.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I screwed this up. So here's my new name for Brett. I call him Brett, not Matt Toth. I can't. Because I keep getting it wrong. That's Brett,
Matt Toth is the former Iowa lineman who
retired.
Brett, no, that was and Brett Toth is the guy that they have now.
From Army, right.
From Army,
anyway.
right.
But
so what did they do? They moved Pryor to left tackle,
and they moved. I thought Toth came in to play
so
right tackle.
Walker didn't play. I thought he did.
Who's that?
The Pierscher-Bacher.
He did get in, but I could have sworn when I was looking that I'll give you let me look for the snaps here.
Okay.
Pierce Bacher only play on specials. He did not play on offense.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. So
Yeah,
Toes was the
he's
one
too
that
small. He's a center/guard.
Okay. So
Who
what do
could
they do if Mailata can't go? Do they do
Yeah.
exactly that again, or do they try to get Winogo in there and see what they've got out of him?
That's a great question. I don't know, man. They Winogo is a super major project, but as you just
Yeah.
said, if Toth played, yeah, I was correct. Toth played the 10 snaps at right tackle. The thing with him is, he has that he had that bad leg injury. I'm assuming he still has the rod in his leg. I mean, maybe they took it out. I don't know. It's not something I've been checking on, but he had that injury from college. But they obviously like this kid enough to keep blocking teams from taking him.
Sure.
So if you're going to do that, why don't you get him in there? But it's all what Stalin thinks.
Right.
You know,
right. Hey, Prince Tego Winogo, why don't you introduce yourself to Chase Young and Montez Sweat in your first NFL start?
God. Yeah, God, man, if you put it, we'll talk more about that for a Friday show, but my God, if now you put it that way,
yeah,
I'm going to take the lesser of two evils. I'm going to play anyone who's got experience over him just because I don't want to get Jalen Hurts hurt.
Yeah. I can definitely see the merit in that, although I'm not sure playing Matt Pryor at left tackle is any
No, I know,
better,
but you know what? Like I said, lesser of two evils. I don't know what's less.
Good point. All right. Joe Osman also on that protected list, by the way, just to finish that off. All right, we'll get into the tape breakdown first. I hope you're checking out our friends at PHLSportsNation.com, covering all of the Philadelphia sports teams, the Eagles, the Sixers, the Phillies, the Flyers, the Union, like nobody else. They're enhancing the fan experience with all of their great content. For the fan, by the fan is their motto, so check them out. PHLSportsNation.com and find them on Twitter at PHLSportsNation. We'll pause real quick for another word from our great sponsors, including our friends from Sky Motor Cars. All right, Adam, let's get into this tape breakdown. We start off, as we always do, with the offense. Give me like an aerial view of the offense. And we've seen it look a little bit different with Jalen Hurts as far as more design quarterback runs, more RPOs, things that Doug has been successful with other quarterbacks, and, of course, with what Jalen Hurts was successful with at Oklahoma. But as far as route like the basic construct of the offense, stuff that's not always schemed to the T, I don't know that it looked all that different than when Carson Wentz was
yeah, I mean, they had a lot of verticals, no doubt. They ran some pistol. The first play of the game to Reagor was a pistol. Unfortunately, Hurts threw the ball low. If the pass was accurate, it probably would have been caught. Yeah, a lot of pre-snap motion, still doing a lot of college concepts. The crosser concept for the Jackson touchdown was a great design, great execution, good throw. I mean, Jackson, you can see it in the All-22, folks. If you get access, he did have to wait just a little bit, but it was an air throw. It got down there. Look, bottom line is great design. They got what they wanted. It always kills me when defensive players who know better go. They got I don't know if it was Ertz going across because they wanted them to pick the wrong guy and they did.
Yes,
great design there. Yeah, I didn't have a problem. See, it's funny when I watch TV. I'm more mad than I am than when I have to ask people, hey, what do I need to watch? And I get, depending on who I speak with, they'll give me certain plays. But it's never what I think on TV. Never. It's not even close because you can't see anything. You can't see the whole field. In fact, the only and I don't know. I want to talk about this for a second because this pisses me to bleep off. Why can't networks give us more of these views? So the Jackson view, they had the entire field. Okay, right. It was like the whole stadium. In fact, I would argue that view was better than the All-22 view you would get on NFL.com. Why can't we get? I've asked this question. It's costly. It's this or that. Come on, man. This is the NFL. Why can't we get why can't, like, for instance, on Amazon Prime, I have it, so I was able to watch the Cardinals game. I didn't have access to some of the features, but why can't they give you now? We're almost at 2021. Why can't we get all 22 on every goddamn snap during the game? Come on.
That's a fair point. And money can't be
that's what I was told when
the NFL. It can't be money. I mean, please.
No. It's the networks. They have to.
Oh, the network. Well, geez, they're loaded as well. I mean,
I don't know. It bothers me. They should have it. We should have that option to, if you're not going to give it to me, because what you'll see is ESPN has it. They forget what they call it for the ball games. Still watch it, and I loved it.
Right.
Whatever. They give you all these different views. In fact, they might have it on 6 different channels. Like the coaches channel for that game, like where they bring some coaches in that weren't in the, they didn't go far in the college playoffs. And they have one that every play is an all 22. I'm like, oh my God, this is heaven. Why can't they do that for the NFL game? Anyway.
No, it's a good question. Let me ask you on what kind of feedback do you get on Hurts's mechanics, throwing mechanics? I remember you talked about the over-the-top delivery, and I felt like I saw that for the first time when he tries to go deep. It's not – he has the arm strength, but
he does.
It's a little bit of a slower release, I think. I think that's something we want to work with.
Elongated a little bit. Here are my notes for the game from people I spoke with, and I watched it just to see what they were talking about. Some indecisiveness, some indecision. Didn't pull the triggers on throws. He only ran the ball 9 times, but probably 3 or 4 of those he probably should have thrown it. One, he got a nice gain. So, yeah, there might have been someone open for 25 yards. Okay, that's fine. There wasn't – people were crushing Hurts on Twitter during the game's second half. I didn't see what was he not as good as the other 2 games? Yes, that's definitely true.
Yeah, but we talked about this. The more tape they develop on you, the more that they're going to figure some things out. I mean,
they mixed man and zone against the Eagles. They did a good job, and I thought the Eagles were very aggressive early on. The protection, for the most part, by the way, was terrific in the first half.
Yeah,
pass pro. Run blocking, they're not. Sanders looked fine. He's just not getting the holes this year because look, you're playing with 2 backup tackles. You're only playing with 2 real starters, Salem Malo, of course, and Kelsey. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. This is on my list of it's now. I have about 18 offseason challenges for no matter who the coaches are. They've got to solve this issue with backup players. I understand you can't account for five guys getting hurt. I get that, but they have to upgrade these guys, and I understand they didn't have an offseason. I'm aware of some of the built-in excuses, and they're legit. But the fact of the matter is that if you want Miles Sanders to be special, you've got to upgrade on the offensive line, one way or the other. Backups have to be better. That's probably it.
Yeah, it would also be nice if you, as we talk about a lot, if you tried to get him involved in the passing game more,
That's
and not just
one.
on screens, but lining him up and causing mismatch.
I didn't see. You know what? It's funny. I have to ask Greg Cosell if he's seen this because we'll make sure we talk about this for our Sunday show for sure. And maybe I'm wrong about this. I have not seen Miles Sanders line up vertically 2 months. Again, maybe I'm wrong.
I believe
maybe there was
did in either the fourth quarter of either the Saints or the Cardinals. I forget which one, but it was just once, and the ball didn't come his way. I mean, really not since that Bengals game, right, where Pederson missed him wide open for a touchdown.
What a great route. He turned that linebacker. I think it was a linebacker.
Yeah, it was Akeem Davis-Gaither.
Okay, right. He turned him inside out, man. That was, oh, God. It's just, you hate to waste that. Oh, well.
Yeah. That almost feels like a microcosm of the season, to be honest with you.
Wasted opportunities, 100%. That to me is if we were going to do a highlight tape, an NFL Films highlight tape, it would be called Wasted Opportunities. Your 2020 Philadelphia Eagles.
Absolutely. What did you make of and what kind of feedback did you get on play calling, the run game?
A lot of college concepts, I didn't ask how many snaps of pre-snap motion. Pistol, first play of the game. There were a decent amount of pistol plays. I don't know. There definitely weren't any more than 10, but there was some pistol. It was Jordan Howard. Maybe Sanders was in 1 or 2 of them. Had some success with it. Some they didn't. But look, they're giving the defense something to think about. You and I have talked about this all season. I don't know why it took them 2.5 months to do this, but they've been doing it. They started doing with Wentz. I mean, it's not like they just started doing with Hurts, but it should have been from the start. And I really want an answer. Why does Wentz not like it? Does he not like the pre-snap motion? I don't know.
I think that's one of the big questions of the offseason, Adam. We have to get to the bottom of that because it doesn't make sense. I know people like to say that they do all this stuff for Jalen Hurts, but not Carson Wentz, as if Doug is trying to sabotage his star quarterback. That just doesn't compute. I'm sorry. Exactly. I know it's great sports talk fodder. It's a fun thing to say, but it's just too stupid. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense.
He's not doing that. Right. I totally agree with you. You're right. You nailed it. just some stuff on before we move to receivers. There were some odd things which like they never do. They ran the ball 3 straight times in the first half.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ertz audibled out of it. I don't know what that was about. Got nothing. Three plays, punt, 3 and out. You can't have that with 3 runs. They never do that. They just did it in this game. I don't know what they thought they saw. We talked about this on our pregame show and also in our Friday preview show. We knew that Dallas was down 4 D tackles. Okay, I get that. I have no problem. They were making some commitment to the run, but the thing that crushed them, they had so many penalties in this game in the first half. It killed or a sack at the worst possible time. It killed the rhythm of their offense. That they really could have probably put up more than 17 points and a half is pretty damn good. Unfortunately, they didn't score the second half.
Well, like I mentioned, after Darius Slay gets his interception and gives them some pretty decent field position, they have 3 penalties on that drive. Just that drive alone, 3 penalties. I don't know how anybody can win.
By the way, did you see Bill Belichick throw the phone?
Yeah.
If I'm Doug Pederson and I'm calling up to the booth, I'm expressing some pissed. I'm just gonna be pissed. I'm throwing a phone, man. You and I aren't fans, but that we one of the things we do for our careers, we cover the Eagles.
Yep.
Like a wet blanket, and this was so embarrassing. The penalties. I'm sick and tired of hearing about backups. Like, you know what? I don't give a bleep. Get your bleeping job. I mean, this is absurd. Like, you're playing with a rookie quarterback, okay? Could you help the guy out? Okay, he's helped you. I mean, you protected him well, and then you bogged down with stupid penalties. I mean, come on. Well, like the Matt Pryor with the false starts, really?
It was awful. It was terrible.
Trey Thomas was talking about this. We asked him. In fact, I remember turning to him. I said, Trey, please explain the issues with the false starts and the cadence. He goes, this should never happen. And Trey must have spent, I'm not joking, 5 minutes on just that one subject. It was brilliant. Because he went through his mind with Donovan, Jeff Garcia, all the quarterbacks he played with. He would make sure he got it the first time in case in fact, if he didn't, he'd say, hey, man, he'd pull him aside. Oh, go ahead, do it. Just do it for me.
Right.
And whatever it was, blue 85.
Right.
He just wanted to know. He wanted to hear it the way the voice inflection.
Right. And I saw Trey put it out on Twitter that none of those things were on Sunday were cadence related. This was just all on, I guess, stupidity. I don't know what you would want to call
I don't know. I don't know, but maybe he knows more than I do and you do and everyone listening, but I just don't understand how this is happening, and this is a bleeping joke.
Yeah. I don't even know, by the way, as we move on to wide receivers, first of all, this is the oddest statistical line. 9 different people caught passes. The leading receiver in the game caught 1 pass, and that's Deshaun Jackson.
For yardage,
with 81.
Right.
He led everybody in yards with 81. As far as the most catches, that's tied with Ertz, Goedert, and Reagor, who each had 3. So, I'm sorry, Miles Sanders had 4.
Did Goedert get hurt in this game?
Receivers.
What? Did Goedert get hurt? Was the game before?
That's a great question.
I don't
even remember.
Yeah.
But it's weird because people, I think people are really overly harsh on Jalen Reagor, and they've started to say that he doesn't get separation, and I just don't think
they don't know what
that's
the hell they're talking about.
Because as I mentioned, he certainly separated on the post that could have been a touchdown if Jalen Hurts had hit him in stride on that.
Threw it too high. This played in, by the way. I'm glad you brought the part up about Hurts and inaccuracy. This is obviously he only played 3 games, so it's not like you have any frame of reference. But this is his worst mechanics game. Drifted back, also didn't step into some throws, which is not like him based on what you saw in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
This had nothing to do with the pass rush. Absolutely nothing. This was on him.
Right. I think it was, if I can, I think it was Dallas clearly did different things to confuse him. They used to spy at times. They were ready.
Yes.
They knew
they adjusted after
100%. Yeah.
They adjusted after his success. You're right.
They forced him in. And plus, when you're down and you have to throw that much, you're always, it's not like in the, when you have to make a play, you're going to probably press a little bit and do things you don't normally do. He was clearly out of his comfort zone from mid-second quarter on, and especially as they started to fall out of contention in that game more and more.
All right, let me break down Reagor for you because this is what I got from people I spoke with, and I watched it with my own eyes just to learn. I love learning and listening and learning the game from people, working the game. So first play of the game was out of pistol. Deep over, ball was too low. Good release from Reagor versus Diggs. Clearly beat him. And by the way, Diggs held him. The play didn't count because it was defensive holding. He just got a great release.
Right.
You see, he does. If you watch this on our YouTube version, he did one of these and he just went right by it and he cut in and it was a really nice play. Cover two beater, beat cover two down the middle, split it. He threw too high, and then there was the other one, the big time cover two. This is the one I would have to ask the quarterback's coach to watch this because I don't know if he should have thrown it or not. I thought he should have, but I'm not that smart. So I think it might have been the first play of the second quarter or certainly early in the second quarter. It was a deep post down the middle. He runs by 58 Joe Thomas, who was the whole player in cover two. And the two corners are wide. Now you have to make a split decision. Are you going to throw it with a spot throw and make him go get it? Well, if he did that, that's the only way it would have worked because if he waits a beat longer, they could close in on it. He decided that maybe I think he might have thrown it to the right or something like that. I think he did. In fact, I know he did.
Right.
But it was you can only see it on the all 22. That you can't see it off TV. It's impossible.
Right.
So it was beautifully designed. It got the look. He ran correctly. He went right by the whole player. And the corners were. They might have been able to squeeze it. I don't. There's no way to know that now because we don't. He didn't. Hurts didn't throw it there, but no, Reagor's not a problem. He's not. There was another one that was Reagor won. The ball was deflected by the DN of Dallas. So yeah, there's no problem. It's the only thing that bothers people, and I get it, and I saw it too. I don't know what he was thinking. Last play of the half, I know there's no chance for him to score, but for some odd reason, he had 40 yards of space in the middle of the field. He ran to the left right into the defender.
Yeah.
So you're right, guys. I get it. You're right. I'm not going to argue. I saw it.
No. I also think his body language isn't always great.
That too. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Wears it on his sleeve. You can see that. Yeah. But I do feel bad for the kid because he played with a bad quarterback his senior year at TCU. He played with obviously a bad version of Carson Wentz for a couple of games this year. He was hurt. Missed a couple of games, and he comes back, and now he's got a new quarterback who's obviously moving the ball better, but is still a rookie just making his third start. And as I've mentioned, every single game that Hurts has started, there's been, starting with the New Orleans game, he missed him on a deep over. Remember, almost within reach. Yeah, and every game there's been
this timing. By the way, timing with Hurts, they got to work together. The Jalen's got to work together. Hopefully in the offseason they'll be able to.
Yeah.
That would certainly help. The Jackson stuff, I didn't think he'd play any more than 30 snaps. He played 20 because, as Doug Pederson said, he was sore as the game went along. His ankle, he's come back from a broken ankle. Okay, but this is, the guy. What is he? 34, 35 for Deshaun? Okay.
Yeah.
Watkins,
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. I've moved on. Watkins, the big play was broken down. That was not designed to him. The play broke down, and Hurts did a great job of maintaining his downfield focus. He certainly could have run. He didn't. Watkins broke open. He threw across his body. So, folks, the reason why Watkins had to wait for it is because he threw it across his body, but it got there. It was like whatever. It was 43 yards. It was fine. Watkins could run. There's no, he's clearly over Hightower. Hightower, Greg Cosell told us from his tape study, he's way behind. This just goes to show you, whatever you see in training camp, be careful of believing it's going to happen. Again, it's like AAA baseball. It's not the major leagues.
Right.
It's the way it is.
All right. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use that promo code ITB to get all of your sign-up bonuses. That's code ITB to get all of your sign-up bonuses using the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app. Let's move on to the defense, which is was pretty.
I just want to add 10 seconds on this. Zach Ertz looks healthy. He's running well. Goedert looks good. The option route was terrific. The 23-yard catch where Hurts rolled out to his right, and then Goedert made a really nice move, and then he made the guy go right, and he went left. It was a nice move. 23 yards. Pass pro, again, for the most part, was pretty good in the first half. Penalties killed them. Now, obviously, they had a couple of plays where they didn't protect well, and Hurts had a hurry. But, it got worse, obviously, after Mailata got hurt. with his concussion. But when you're playing with so many backups, there's no way these guys are going to play a perfect game. And the second half of the offense is, boy, they bogged down a ton.
Absolutely. All right. You want to go to the defense now?
Sure. Yep.
All right. Where do you want to start? The cornerback position with Michael Jacquet?
Yeah. I had a joke with a friend of mine who looked at their defense, and he goes, man, he goes, they could have had the 85 Bears. They weren't – Michael Jacquet was – it wouldn't matter. He goes – because he said this guy really likes Josh Sweat. He had mentioned how this kid is really gifted. He goes, and then having Sweat and Barnett killed them. Right. Obviously, Cox only played 7 plays, so that played into it. Obviously, that hurt them. Mm-hmm. But what he said was, you could have had the best front seven of football. You weren't helping Michael Jacquet. I want to get that right. It's Jacquet.
Right.
Because he just simply is new to the position, and he doesn't see. It's the odd part of this, though. Yes, he did get beat deep. He doesn't understand adjustments, and when the ball's in the air, how to adjust to it, because he's so new to the position.
Right.
That's why you see him. He's near the ball, and he doesn't make the play.
Well, I mean, he shouldn't be out there. We all know.
Agree.
It's not the kid's fault. If you're slamming Michael Jacquet, you've got misplaced anger. I mean, the guy's a practice squad corner who has not even been with the team for more. This is the first year he's with the team. Nothing about the offseason was normal. I mean, this is a developmental kid who, honestly, the percentages of him making it in the NFL were very small to begin with. So, I don't know what you could have done. I suppose you can criticize Jim for not just starting Jalen Mills on the outside.
I agree.
You can do that. But remember, Jalen Mills was on the other side of those long bombs last year, too.
I know.
I can't sit here and tell you that would have made a huge difference.
I hate to beat up the kid, but anything would have been better than Jacquet. It's not like he didn't get housed versus Hopkins. I know he wasn't on Hopkins every play,
right?
But when he was, he mostly got beaten. I know Hopkins is a great player. He's arguably the NFL's best receiver, certainly top 3.
Right.
They only dressed 3 corners, that can't happen. I don't, like I said in the pregame show, I don't care if Jameson Houston can't play or not. He's a body. Get him out there. He's a corner. I don't know what. I don't know. In a game you had to win. You need true corners out there. We're playing Braylon Arnold was playing some corner.
Oh, Elijah Riley.
Yeah, anybody. Right. I don't know, man. I didn't agree with that, but I'm sure they have reasons for it.
Right.
Look, Jim Schwartz knows more than us. Elijah Riley only played on specials. I thought he was going to play corner. He only played specials, but Arnold played a lot of corner. I mean, he played 42 snaps for good. He played as many snaps as Malik Jackson, for goodness sake.
Yeah, that was. I mean, you're almost set up to fail when you have to do that, and fail is what they did. I mentioned this after the game when we did our podcast, and I said I thought that too many people are pointing to Fletcher Cox leaving the game as the reason why all of a sudden Dallas went on a scoring binge, and it
contributed to it, but that's
Fletcher's
not
a good player, but I mean that's giving him a whole lot of
come on, man.
credit. I think it's more that they were already down Barnett and they were already down Sweat, and then you lose Cox, and then the culmination of that starts and then you've got a guy that you can pick on in Michael Jacquet, and then that's the recipe for a disaster.
Yes, what Cox not being there was clearly an issue, but it wasn't. It's 1/3 of the issue. It's not having Sweat and Barnett. I mean, clearly, DN wise, Vinny Curry's not explosive like Barnett or Sweat. Okay, Vinny's been a great story for the Eagles. Clearly, on a second, I mean, it's been a great story for him. But he's not. He's in his 30s. BG's in his 30s.
Right.
They had no depth. I mean, that crushed them. You couldn't have, one of the special things about this D-line is the rotation. When everybody's healthy, no one has a better rotation than the Eagles when they're all healthy. They have no rotation.
No.
What are you going to do?
So, and as we talk about corners, Adam, the Nickel Robey-Coleman thing just didn't work out this year. And then obviously, they attacked right at him coming out of halftime and got CeeDee Lamb isolated on him, touchdown. And it just has not been – I don't think it's not been a good year for anybody, but that was one of those value signings we thought in the offseason, a one-year deal, a guy who excelled at his position. He just has not fit in with what they've done, and he has not played well.
Well, one of the things that they did, as you know, we've talked about this, is they at times, unfortunately, they had to play him outside.
Yeah. Because
of lack of depth at corner. That's another one of our – I might as well put 20 offseason challenges and things that need to be corrected. They've got to have better depth of corner. This out on the outside. We've talked ad nauseum that they made a mistake in putting Maddox as an outside corner. That just was. And by the way, it's not like we were late on that one. We said from the beginning this is a mistake. They shouldn't have done that.
Right.
We understood why they were doing it because Jim Schwartz thinks the world of him. That's great, but someone's got to be more reasonable and say he's not an outside corner. Everyone knew this. Come on.
Everyone, you're absolutely right. And so I don't know. They wound up starting the season with 2 slot corners out of their top 3 corners, and that didn't work out very well. But I think in general, the signing of him, he just has not made. He was known for being a guy who doesn't get a lot of interceptions, but gets a lot of pass breakups.
Yep.
And can excel there in the man coverage, which they played a lot earlier in the year. And I just don't think that Robey-Coleman's given them what they've wanted. I mean, I know, yes, he's had to play outside and he's natural inside, but even when he has been an inside slot corner, I just don't think that it's worked out the way they envisioned it.
Yeah, I had no problem signing if it was a smart move. It just didn't work. One move begat another. That's what happened when they made a decision with Maddox going outside. They thought they had to get a slot corner. They've got a lot of work to do in the secondary, but way more than I anticipated. Once I've been starting to put together an off-season plan for content as we talk through it.
Mm-hmm.
So my ideas are just they got to kind of redo the secondary here. Other than Slay, obviously, who's set. We'll see about McLeod. He's coming back from an ACL injury. Corner, they're not deep, as we've said. Outside corner is it's a no depth, and it's kind of a mess. And Maddox, to me, could be a terrific slot corner. They have to do that, right? Don't they have to do that?
I mean, I would think so. And plus, when you talk about remaking the secondary, a lot of it's going to have to be with people that they have now in the right positions or people that they draft coming up. Because as we've talked about, they're not going to have a ton of money in free agency.
I hear you. Good. Build through the draft, man.
Hey, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, it's always good to try to get some holes patched up through free agency, but
bargains.
Yeah, bargains. But then again, that's what they thought Nickel Robey-Coleman was going to be.
I hear you, but again, if you just make it okay, they've got one guy that can depend on the outside. Mm-hmm. Everything else is open. They got their slot corner. They're fine there. They just have to address the outside corner position. They've got to add at least 2 guys who could play. Yeah,
at least. And you have to hope there's some development from the kid like Kevon Wallace, as you mentioned, and
safety.
Maybe Marcus Epps is a kid that they like at safety. So hopefully he's someone as we really don't know what's going to become of McLeod, who has another year left, but is coming back from an ACL injury. Who knows how well he recovers from that and how quickly he can get back.
Yep. Great.
All right. So we've talked about the only thing left is linebackers. I don't know if anything really stood out from your feedback on.
Yeah, I didn't really ask because there were certain things I was looking for.
Yeah.
So we know Singleton played again every snap.
Right.
Edwards playing almost all the snaps. There's really only those 2 guys. They were the only guys really out there, except for the kid Bocce. He was out there. What he got 10 snaps.
Yeah.
We knew they were going to go nickel the whole game because they had to. They have no choice.
Right.
Because the Cowboys run about 72% three wide coming to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, we knew they got what they got what they knew they were going to get. My issue was if you knew that was going to happen, because based on your tape study and based on the numbers, based on the stats that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you have outside corners that can play on the outside? I understand that, yes, most of them aren't very good or they're not tested yet.
Mm-hmm.
But coming in, in a game you have to have. Why wasn't a veteran – give me a journeyman off the street the last 3 or 4 weeks. I just don't – I don't know, man. The Eagles aren't the only team that does this. Sometimes they just want to see what these other guys can do. To me, you were in a win and play for week 17 for the division. Okay, I don't want to. I know what the record is. I get it. I know they're not going to. They wouldn't go very far in the playoffs. I understand that if they won it, if they got in.
Right.
But give yourself a better chance.
That's all you can do is give yourself a better chance. All right, that will wrap up the defensive part of our film review. Remember, the holidays are over, but New Year's Day is coming up soon, and you can still take advantage of great promos and great products from our friends at manscaped.com. Just use the promo code ITB. You'll get 20% off and free shipping on all of their great products for male grooming. 20% off, free shipping. All you got to do is use the promo code ITB at manscaped.com. All right, let's turn the page a little bit, Adam, and move into what's going to happen after Sunday. We alluded to it a little bit. I mean,
Yeah,
there's going to be change. You don't have a season like
of
this
course,
and think that everything just, you
100%,
go back and
100%.
yeah.
There's that, and again, we're basing it mostly on the way that Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, if you look at the quotes, there's some quotes that people have been bringing up from late August. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know where he spoke, but it's in one of the Inquirer pieces. I saw
Right.
it on Twitter. Um, yeah, look, we know that he was the one that pushed for coaches. He wanted there's two coaches fired, and they were. Pederson really didn't have any choice.
Right.
So I couldn't tell you how those meetings are to go. Now, let's outline the possible. There are three things that could happen.
Yes.
If they're going to move on from Pederson, and Lurie knows it, that's going to happen Sunday night or early Monday morning.
Right.
I know coaches. I've seen plenty of coaches get fired right after the game. It's just or sometimes when you're traveling, you do it when you get back to the complex. But here they're playing at home. Now, if you're going to go, if you're Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, and you decide that you want to bring him back or consider it, you have meetings with him Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Mostly after Doug watches the tape and clears up the end of the season meetings, the exit meetings for the players. You have meetings over a 24 to 48 hour period. You go over everything, and then you go back and forth on staffing, and they have their ideas. Doug will have his ideas, and people know this. This is not a secret. I've said this now for 3 years. One of Doug Pederson's biggest struggles is managing his coaches, and the fact that this gets up to the ownership level is a joke. He should know who's not doing a good job. The owner should never be involved. And I'm not blaming the owner here. I'm blaming the head coach. You know why? Because great head coaches or very good head coaches never let it get to that level. They manage their people better. And that's on him. There's no excuse for it. And he's just really bad at it. And if he doesn't get retained, that's the biggest reason why it's going to cost him his job, because he's awful at managing his own coaches.
Yeah, I mean, that could become a sticking point. You can stay, but we have to do X, Y, and Z with your coaching staff, and the coach may say, "I'm not going to do X, Y. You're not doing that to me."
Sure, he can do that, and I wouldn't blame him. What coaches wants to be told what he's got to do and not, what he can do and not do with his coaches. But again, if you manage your coaches better, if you understand what their strengths and weaknesses are, you don't have them handle certain things. And sometimes, as a head coach, now I don't know this, but we've seen the regression of Wentz and Zach Sudfeld, Nate Sudfeld, Zach's his brother, the tight end, but Nate Sudfeld. We know in 18 and 19, Press Taylor took over, and 20, and I know they promoted him this year. We could argue whether that was a good decision or not, but the fact of the matter is we have the results.
Yep.
The head coach who could have stopped it did not. He's the one who ultimately made a decision. Whether it was his decision or somebody else's, he okayed it. And he's got to do a better job of understanding what these guys are capable of doing, not capable of doing. We've been saying this for 3 years before anyone knew about this. We said repeatedly since we started the show in the spring of 18, Carson Wentz needs to be coached hard. Okay? He needs to be coached hard. He was not coached hard here. And not hard enough. Okay? Let's put it that way. Whatever they tried didn't work.
Right.
That's why the message has to change.
Right. Well, let me introduce a kind of a curveball that could occur here.
All right.
The owner could want the head coach back, and the head coach could want to be back, and maybe they could theoretically even agree on whatever changes need to be made. But Doug Pederson's a human being like everybody, and if there's a great opportunity elsewhere where you feel like you might be appreciated more, or you won't be in an environment that you no longer really love, and I'm speculating here, there's going to be 5 other job openings, maybe even more for head coaches.
Sure.
He's got the best, this. Doug has the best coaching agent there ever is out there, and Bob Lamont, represents. He's not just a great coaching agent; he's a great executive agent as well. He represents Howie Roseman.
Yeah. He doesn't have Howie anymore, but he did. He used
to. He doesn't. That's right. But he represents almost everybody.
A lot of GM candidates. You're right. You're right.
So I mean, I just wonder if Doug will. If I believe that Doug would be able to get a head coaching job somewhere else this year. I don't know that for a fact. I just think he could.
I think he would get interviews. I don't know if he would get the jobs. Look, there are 3 openings now. We know the Jets is going to be the 4th for sure. After that, it would be the biggest upset in NFL history with coaching if Adam Gase kept his job. I don't know the guy. I'm not looking for him to get fired. Everyone I trust around the league says there's 0 chance he returns, and they have their own reasons why.
Right.
Certainly people are connected to the Jets, but That would be the shocker of the year. That would be the shocker if Gase stays there. Now, if you look at head coaching candidates, because I know people want to know, well, we're gonna even if they keep Pederson, which could happen. Just some of the head coaching candidates from college. Pat Fitzgerald from Northwestern, who's a really good coach, really well liked by NFL people. Lincoln Riley, obviously, who's in the past, as I understand, he's resisted overtures.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if he's open again, or if he's open again, if he's willing to leave Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you're the Eagles and you're moving on with Doug Pederson, Pederson wants out, man, how do you not call him? Because he's a pretty good offensive coach, or those offenses are people like them.
Yep.
And obviously, Jalen Hurts is the guy they coached, so that would make some sense.
It would. I mean, you have to think that a lot of these well, we'll have to find out. I would think that a lot of Jeffrey's decision-making has to have Carson Wentz in the background of it. You know, who's going to come coach the team? If Doug's going to stay and Doug needs new coaches, they're all going to have to be designed to fixing and rebuilding, I should say, Carson Wentz. So the Lincoln Riley thing it's tantalizing because you can see Jeffrey being enamored with of that kind of guy, but is he brought in? If Lincoln Riley would be the guy, does that mean you're already decided to move on from Carson Wentz, or do you think Lincoln can fix Carson Wentz? Or
don't know.
Would Lincoln want to? Who knows? That opens up so many questions.
It would surprise me only because I don't know if they want to go the college route again. And I understand Lincoln Riley is the complete opposite of Chip Kelly, from what I understand, checking into his background and people know him.
Yeah,
but. Okay, let's go to the pro guys because these are the ones that are important because this plays into what you just said. Brian Daboll, in terms of quarterback developers, is the best guy, head coaching candidates.
Done a great job with Josh Allen.
Phenomenal. One of the all-time coaching jobs. If people thought John DeFilippo's done a remarkable job everywhere he's been, and the latest one is his latest project is Mitch Trubisky.
Right.
I was playing really well, but in terms of quarterback developers or good head coaching candidates, it's Brian Daboll. Now, Eric Bieniemy is certainly going to get a job. There's no way he doesn't get a job, okay? The question is, who does he bring with him? Mike Kafka will be Bieniemy's replacement. As I put this out a year ago. Mike was a guy the Eagles might have talked to if they could, but they couldn't last year. That was the Chiefs shut that down. They made sure I don't know. The rules are different now. You know, you could hire a guy and not name him an offense coordinator, but if he has enough responsibility, you can't block him. Like the rules now have changed.
Right.
So I would say Brian Daboll would be one.
Right. Bieniemy, Daboll. Who else we got? What about Robert Saleh?
Saleh definitely is Detroit. A lot of people around the league think because he's from that area. He's tied. A lot of people around the league think he'll wind up there. The question would be, who would he bring in as his OC? That's another thing. These defensive guys, you always have to have someone in your back pocket as your offensive coordinator, so you have to see there. I typically, when I look at these lists or potential guys, you always look at the coordinators from the best teams.
Right.
Offense or defense. Todd Bowles, I don't know if he gets a shot this year, but there are some teams that I know that like him, that they've mentioned me privately. They think he'll be head coach again.
What about Eberflus from Indianapolis?
Matt Eberflus is a great name. He's their defense coordinator for the Colts.
Yeah.
Fiery guy, good coach. Yeah, he should be on some lists. I think that's a great one that you have. Arthur Smith, the OC of the Titans.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep, he would be. Yeah, it's amazing. His dad's Fred Smith, the chairman of FedEx.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
interesting.
He's done a great job. Now, obviously, he's more of a run game guy.
Yeah.
So you have to decide if you're going to go after him, what kind of offense that you want. We mentioned Bieniemy, obviously of the Chiefs. I mentioned Brian Daboll. Other than Josh McDaniels for sure, absolutely. And I guess he was interviewed by maybe WEEI, and I saw the quotes. He clearly has made it clear that he wants to be a head coach again. He's open to it.
Right.
He would be one.
Why nobody from the Saints chain there? Would Carmichael not be?
Yeah, Dennis Allen's the guy. Dennis Allen was the right guy at the wrong time. It was unfortunate when he got fired. It was around the Al Davis situation.
Right,
Al Davis passing, and it wasn't a good time to be there. Unfortunately, he's got a chance. He's done a great job with their defense.
Yeah.
Pete Carmichael is a very sharp guy. He's in the Greg Roman mode. I should have mentioned Greg Roman certainly is a guy that would like to be a head coach, from what I understand.
Yeah.
A pretty sharp guy from Atlantic City. it's all about command, and it's not about so much teaching. Do you have the command to get in front of rooms?
Mm-hmm.
Because Roman's so good. He's such a great coach. Pete Carmichael, I get that he doesn't call the plays, but Andy Reid, again, did never call plays before he became the Eagles head coach.
Right.
Eric Bieniemy's never been a play caller,
right,
per se, but he's heavily involved in it. As Mike Kafka is, by the way, with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric's got great command. He's a teacher. So those would be some of them. For people who are asking, those would be some.
I think those were the main 5 or 6. I don't know if anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I think the top 3 are Bieniemy, Dable, and probably McDaniels, I would think.
Josh. Oh, I got one. Now, this would be a surprise. He's going to be a head coach someday. Brandon Staley, the D coordinator.
Oh, yeah. He's done a nice job.
I don't know him. I never met him. But I'd heard about him. I'm not looking at his bio here, but it might have been Western Kentucky. He was at one of the smaller schools, the D coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys I know in coaching said the guy's an absolute stud. He's unbelievably great coach, and he's a Vic Fangio protege. Vic brought him from Chicago to Denver, and then obviously Sean McVay hired him. He's in his mid-30s now. He's brilliant.
Right.
Brian Schottenheimer, people have asked me about him. He was a hot name like 10 when he was with the Jets.
Yeah, I remember that
10 years ago or something. But I don't know. He's done a great job with Russell Wilson. There's no question about that. You want to talk about a guy who coaches hard? He coaches hard. He's there because he coaches hard. Let's put it that way. The quarterback position.
Yeah.
So they got it. See, this is interesting with Brian Schottenheimer. Just before we get out of here, the Seahawks knew that Russell, because he tended to break the pocket a lot, holding the ball a little bit long. Pete Carroll looked. He was looking for someone who had command and had really coached quarterbacks hard, and coached quarterbacks done a good job. And Schotty just done. And by the way, he's done a great job play calling. He's done a really good job.
Yeah.
It's not a bad name. I mean, Schotty's not a bad name, but
we didn't mention it, but his name seems to come up. Although I don't think he's had an interview. Well, maybe he's had one.
We had years ago. He did, but it hasn't been in God. I don't know how long. I don't think.
No, I didn't even say the name of the person I'm thinking.
Oh, I thought you meant Schotty. Sorry.
No. I'm talking about Deuce Staley, whose name seems.
I would love Deuce. I've said it, and in fact, Eagles source told me, in the last couple of years, Deuce absolutely should be head coach. Got great command. Players flock to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just one of these guys. He's got the command of the room. He's got. He's just one of these rare assistants that he's just got it. It's just who the hell who cares if he's a play caller or not? The guy will find his own play caller if he needs to. It's just
I agree.
Deserves a shot.
All right. Obviously, we'll be back post game pod, which will be probably different than your normal post game pod. We'll wrap up the Eagles Washington game, and then we'll kind of get on and continue to turn the page and let everybody know what we've heard up to that point. And then next week, Adam, is going to be the first. It'll
be wild.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is going to be pretty.
Oh
pretty
God,
wild
like I remember. God, at 13, the Chip Kelly chase was crazy. It was just because the Browns were involved, the Bills and other teams. But in our Friday show, by the way, we'll obviously preview the game because it's our last preview of a game, the Washington-Philly game.
Oh, right. I forgot. I skipped the pod. You're correct.
but we'll probably add a little bit more intel on not whether Doug's going to come back or not, because that decision has not been made.
Right.
But we're going to give you an idea of the structure of next week. More head coaching candidates. We'll have more of a broad list. We'll actually nail down some stuff that we think would fit in here in Philly. And also, if Doug comes back, some names that might be coming in here potentially, if they're going to make some changes on the offensive staff, which, I mean, that would be another upset, I just don't see any way. In fact, there's not going to be a way. There's going to be restructuring of the offensive staff if Pederson comes back, because they cannot come back with the same structure. Again, to close this, when you see everyone and their mother reporting how frustrated the owner is, what do you think's going to happen? I mean, come on, I'm not breaking any news here. It's obvious. Come on.
Exactly. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Inside the Birds, the leading podcast in Eagles intel. Big thanks, as always, to our producer, Hunter Brody. Check him out on YouTube. His channel is called Sports Talk with Broads. Check him out on Twitter, @Broads81. And as always, we thank you for flying with us inside the birds.